Hi, my name is Anita Mori, and I'm a decorative painter. And today I want to do a little winter tag. This is using distress tags. I have some Stampendous stamps, and we'll also be using some DecoArt Media fluid acrylics and Dynasty Faux Squirrel brushes. I'll have everything listed on the bottom of the video if you want to join. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a tag. Let's move this aside. I have here, it's a glass, and it's from a picture frame, so you can use whatever size that you want. The first colors that we're going to use is yellow oxide and some green gold. We're going to spray the glass a little bit to water down our paint. Shake the paint. So I want a couple little drops. Okay, and a couple little drops of green gold. Okay, and then what I do is I water this down some more, and I want to make sure that I don't have those thick little blobs of paint. A little bit more here. I think maybe we can add a little bit more green. Kind of disappeared. A little bit more water. Okay. Now I'm going to take a tag and I'm going to face it down till it's all full of paint. You can lift it up. Make sure that you got it all. And this background, whenever you do it, it'll never be the same. It's always a different background, okay? And I'm just going to put that aside, let that dry. I'm going to clean this up. Okay. This aside. Okay, now we're going to dry that up. A little blow dryer. And sometimes when I see like a lot of water here, I'm just going to dab a little bit off. Also, if there'll be an affiliated link with DecoArt, if you want a discount on your shopping cart, if you need the paint that I'm going to be using. It takes a while because it's got water. I like using this mat when I do mixed media. You're not ruining your tabletop. Okay, it's getting there. Okay. Now the next thing that I'll do, there's a couple spots that's still wet. It might dry by the time I get to it. You can just, because it rolls when it's still damp. The next thing I have is the archival ink, and this one is ground espresso. What I like to do is go around my edge. So you just rub on the edge. If you want the corners a little darker, just lay it a little bit more flat, and the corners will be just a tad darker. There. I'm gonna just, there's a couple little spots that are wet, and I need it to be dry in order to stamp my project there. Okay, there's two stamp sets that I used for this, and it's from Stampendous. One is called Autumn Leaves, and the other one is Leafy Holiday. I used this little brush. It's like a brush, it's pine needles. So I have this one, and we're going to use the acorn or pine cone for this one here. Okay, and I have a little block. I'm going to put my pine cone on it. And I use the archival ink jet black. I'm going to do a couple of that. And I like to stamp on paper first before I do it on my project, just to make sure that the ink is fully on the stamp. See how it's light? The more you do it, the more ink you're going to get on your stamp. So it's getting there. I also might need a little bit more ink on my pad. Let's try this again. Push hard. See there? It's getting darker. That's what I want. Keep doing that until it gets dark. Okay. Now let's add some more. Okay, I want it to more like at the bottom edge. I'm going to tilt this one here like that. I went a little closer because this one here went a little further. Okay, and then we'll do another one. And we're going to put it on an angle like about here. It can overlap a little bit, that's fine. Okay, now to clean these, I use the archival ink cleaner. Don't use baby wipes. You're gonna get these stamps will become sticky and will lose its shape, and then it won't be any good. So all you do is add the cleaner, let it sit for a few minutes, and then you're gonna take a paper towel. You can just wipe the edges. And you can do that a couple times for it to become really, really clean. Okay, now the next one is the pine needles. We'll put that on. Again, I'm going to test it before I put it on my project. Let's see this. This one's not too bad. Good. Okay, now let's put a couple on here. Okay, I have one close to the edge. And this one here, I have it overlapped. You can have it on top there. It's a lot higher. Okay. We go like this. Again, I'm just going to clean my little stamp. Let it sit, and then I'll clean it after. Okay, now I want my ink to be really dry before I paint on it. Now I'm gonna start with the colors. Burnt umber. I'm gonna put some on my palette here. And I'm going to be using, it's a number 4 squirrel round. Squirrel round. I'll put some on my brush. Okay, now what I did for these colors is I solid coated the like little folds on the pine cones, and I did them both the same. It could be a little inky if you wanted to. So just follow the lines. Did a couple up here. There's some here. Wherever you seem to like see how the folds are. Doesn't have to be all done. And there's one right here. And I think that's good for that one. And we'll do the same for the other one. Doesn't have to be perfect. Here. I don't know if I missed any. Oh, maybe this one right here. That's good. Okay, we'll let that dry, and I'm gonna float underneath here with the burnt umber as well. And I'm gonna use this one is a 1/4 inch angle brush. You can use a bigger one if you want. Okay, and I want to do this a little inky, so this one was a little solid. I'm just going to put water on here. And when I go to pick up my for the floating, I'm going to make it sure that's a little inky. Okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just run along the bottom edge here. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll rinse it, but I want this to not be so harsh, so just blob it down a little bit. Just let it run into the fade out. Okay, I'll pick up some burnt umber again. Do this side here. The point is really good to get into those little cracks there in the pine cone area. Okay, again, I'm going to just rinse my brush. I just want this to fade in there. Okay. Now, to do the pine cone, there's a couple of wet spots. I used the yellow oxide. Or no, I'm sorry, I didn't do that. I used the burnt umber, but very faint with the angle brush. Sorry. Okay, just pick up a little bit. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. What I did was start from the bottom and just dab some wet. It has to be like a little bit of watered down, and you're gonna see some different brown, solid, light. It's gonna be all watered down. It could be messy, doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll do the same for this one. And depending on how your background is, this one here will be a little different. You can also, which I just remember, burnt sienna. I'm going to do it on this one here. I'm pretty sure that's the color I used. I got all mixed up in my colors. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to turn this. There, that's a little bit better. So start from the little tip and just let it run to the edge there. And then maybe I'll add a little bit in here so it's not so brown. Let's be a little bit more watery. And when it dries, it will look different. Okay. I just seen that this one here could be a little bit more brown. That's a little folded area. Okay. Now for my pine needles, I used Phthalo Green-blue. I'm going to put a little bit of this. You only need a little bit, like a little drop. You don't need a whole lot. Again, I'll use my angle brush. Okay. It's a very pretty green. And then what I did was start from the edge, just add like a little float from the bottom to the top. And you can also make it fade out a little bit so you don't have a harsh line. Just follow the pine needle center there, edge. Okay, over here. And when it's dragging, I don't have enough water in my brush. I'm going to pick up some more. Okay, and then I have some color in my pine needles. Okay, let's dry that up a little bit there. This is a very quick project. You'll love it. Okay, now I spattered some burnt umber and some white. Okay, so I still have some burnt umber, and I like using fans when I do my spattering. I'm just going to move everything aside, and I have a lot of water on here, and just pop that all in there. And then what I do is I take another brush and I'll tap my bristle. You can put as much as you want. Then I'm gonna rinse off my brush, and I'm gonna use some titanium white, and I'll do the same. So rinse off my brush. I have water in here. Really make that inky. And then let's put some on here. Okay, let's dry that up. Just wash a little bit of this off. Can make the blobs a little watered down if you want to just press it with your hand or your baby wipe. Okay, now the next thing that I do, I have this stencil from Tim Holtz. This is one of my favorite stencils. It's called Speckles, and it does like it almost looks like the snow is falling on the pine cone and the needles. So what I did was I laid it flat, more like on the top edge here, and then I'm going to apply some white modeling paste from DecoArt Tradition, and I use a palette knife. Let's open this. I keep saran wrap in there just to keep my paste from drying. So I'll apply like a generous amount. Okay, so hold it down and start from the top. And just like if you're icing it. go right to the little tiny specks at the bottom. Pick up the excess, just put it back in your jar. Okay, and then I'll wipe my palette knife so it doesn't stick on there. And then just lift this up. Okay, let it dry. You can rub the little edge if there's too much. Okay, I'll move this aside for a sec. And then it's easy to clean off, but you should clean it right away. I just use baby wipe. I'm just going to get another one here. And the other side. Because you don't want your little hole. If you find your little, the holes get all plugged up, just put some, you can use some rubbing alcohol if you want. Let's try that. And then just rub it. You might clean some of those little holes. Okay. Put that aside. Okay, now while this still dries, and sometimes it doesn't take that long, I have the string, but it also has like little beads, and I painted them with the DecoArt acrylic paint. So you can get these in any craft store, and there are different sizes in here. I'm gonna take 3 different sizes. We've got, well, the bag. Okay, the first one I used was the same green, which is use this, which is the Phthalo Green-blue. I used it for the big one. So it is messy, and it doesn't have to be solid. You're just applying some paint on it, and it dries really, really fast. Okay, turn this around. Okay, I'll let that dry. Just clean my fingers so the paint on the next little bead. Okay, let's start. And the next color that I used was burnt sienna. You can use whatever color you want. Just let that dry. And then the next one that I used was yellow oxide. Put a little bit of this on. Okay. Yellow oxide for the little bead. Oops. So what I'll do is make sure my fingers are clean here. Okay. We'll just dry the beads a little bit. We can dry this too, just so that we don't put our hands on it. And when it dries, it'll be like a little, I know it says white, but it'll come up like a little bit clear. So this is still wet. It's not bad. What I can do is do my little thread. So I have they're like little twines. You can use whatever size that you want. You can use this one. And then make sure you have a long enough rope. Okay, and then what I do is I fold it in half. Fold it in half, put it through here, and then put that through the loop. Okay, and then I'll start with the big one. Put that through. Little one. Okay, and then I'll take the two ends, make sure that it's tight, and I do a little knot at the end. Yeah. And that's it for the little tag. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell for the notification. Thanks for watching. Bye.